Hello guys, in this video I won't be showing how to push or commit your changes from Android Studio, but how to use Git tool to debug your commit, branches and code. So first of all, we have three panels in here. On the left side we have branches, on the middle side we have commits, and on the right we have descriptions of those commits. So the first thing I want to talk about are filters. So let's say we have a hide git branches filter so that we can hide those branches, and as you can see there are more available space for commits and their descriptions. There are other filters, like let's say we want to collapse those branches because there are too many of them, like in here, and as you can see we see the whole picture of it. Now I want to expand it all to explain you how those branches can work. And one of my favorite is to group them by directory, because by default you get something like this. But let's say you have many of them, many branches, and you want to group them by directory. And as you can see, they are grouped by, so it's easier to see them and read those branches and their directories. So one of my favorite tool in here are not filters, but is to compare branches, because in here there are not many branches, but we can choose with control and mouse two branches. Like let's say I want to choose master and dev, and I click right click and I click compare branches, and now I can compare commits on those two branches. In here there isn't any commit in dev that it isn't in master, but usually you can see the difference between them. Yeah, so let's move on to the commit section. So commit section is more fancy because there is more information to read about. So let's start with filters again. We can filter branches in here. So like let's say I want to only see dev branch, and now it's very important that we need to click Ctrl and Enter to apply this filter, and now I can see only branch dev. But because dev and master are merged, there is nothing new or nothing deleted. So now let's say I want to filter by a user. Like let's say I want to find myself. Like in here I type myself, I click it, and I use Ctrl and Enter. And as you can see, I contributed only one commit to this repository because it's an open source project I contributed to in November. And the last thing, but not least, are date and paths. Date are just filtering by dates, like 24 hours or 7 days. And paths are more tricky because we can now select the specific folder we want to see commits from. So let's say I want to filter let's say not billing, but some things from habits, for example folder, and now I can see only commits from this specific folder. So yeah, it's very useful to use this path filter, but it isn't the only option to filter folders through commits. I can show you this thing later, how you can filter your files, folders, or even lines of code. So the next thing is that when you click your commit, you can display information about this commit, like what have changed, in what branches this commit is in, and what is more useful to use is to click two or many commits. So instead of clicking only one, you usually click many of them. Like I now press Ctrl and click a couple of them, and as you can see, I can see all the files that have changed. So yeah. And now let's move on to the, for example, more view options filtering, like view options, and in here you can click hash, and now we can click right click and copy revision number. Now I double click shift, and now what I can do, I can filter for this commit. So yeah, you can save those hash numbers and later you can search for this specific commit. And of course you have a search option. You can search for specific phrases, but you need to check it by yourself. Yeah. And there are things like, for example, where it was, show repository, yeah, and here, show repository at revision. So when I click in this option, I can see how my project structure have looked like in this specific commit, in this specific time. So as you can see, I can now search through files and see how they looked like in this moment. So yeah, it's very useful to see what is lack, what is missing. Yeah, and you can of course compare commits with your local. So I can see what have changed between this commit and my local state. Okay, so let's move on to the description side, because in here, let's say I want to display some files like this one, and as you can see, I'm right now comparing with my local changes. And in here there are two options I really like to use. The first one is collapse unchanged fragments. So let's say some fragments have changed, it's obvious, but I don't want to see the fragments that have not changed, because I can do anything to them for them. So I use this option, and right now I see only the thing I need, and I don't waste time to search through those files. And the second thing is, right now two of those files are scrolling, and now when I click this option, I can scroll each y by one. So I can compare different stages of those commits, different places. Yeah, and now, as I explained to you the most important things from those panels, let's move on to the last things, which is how to cooperate with those panels with Android project structure. So if you click on any folder you want, like let's say in here, and I click in Git, compare, show history, I can now see the history of this specific folder, but we can go a little bit deeper, so that I can click a specific file to show history about. Like in here, I click Git, show history, and now as you can see, I see this specific file. But you don't need to do this like me. You can use double shifting, and you can type show history, and the result is the same. But what you probably don't know is that you can even show history of a specific file, of a specific line of code in this file. So we need to select specific line of code, click it in here, Git, show history for selection, and as you can see, I can now display the changes that have been made in every commit for this specific line. And of course you can do the same with settings, double shift, show history for selection, and the result is the same again. Okay, and the last thing, probably the most favorite and the most common used by many people, is of course annotate with git blame. So now I can see which person we can blame for writing this line of code, of course. And like in the previous examples, of course, there are some filters we can use for this git blame, so that we can see more information, like we can change colors, we can deselect author, date, revision, and yeah. So I leave it up to you how you use this git blame. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I showed you only git section, but of course there are others, like in here commits, branches, and any others, but those sections will be shown in next videos. So I hope I helped you in this video, and I hope you subscribe and like my video. So thank you guys for watching, and see you soon.